Wholeness, beautiful beings, welcome to Notes of Naja Rashida. Naja Rashida here. Welcome to my space, my place. Let's get right into it. Yes, I am making videos back to back. Why? Because of time. And I just feel intuitively guided to share. So, this is my little plant. Say hello, plant. Okay. All right. Love. God, love, soul, spirit, ancestors. We don't need to stretch ourselves out anymore. You don't need to reach outside of yourself anymore. I say this to you, but I also say this to myself as a reminder. I am beginning to understand some things, not all things. Good Lord, to understand all things. What would be the point of living if you understood everything, right? Well, because I don't understand everything, I want to live and explore and figure it out. So, I'm celibate. I'm not ashamed. I don't make that the pinpoint of this channel. I've talked about it a couple of times. Made a few videos on it. And I'll continue to make some here and there. It's not my identity. Like, oh, I'm gay, and some people like make that their whole, all that they are. Or I'm a mom, and it's like they make motherhood, they're all of who they are. Or I'm married, and they make that they're all of, or I'm a teacher, and they make that all of their identity. We over-identify with everything. And because, you know why I think so? Because we're too scared to face the reality or the potential of what that would look like and feel like if we couldn't identify with anything. Oh, then I am completely worthless and have no value if I'm not defined by an identity. Right? It's a very weird dance because I've met people who are on that kick, that ascension kick, right? I'm ascending. Okay? I'm egoless. I'm free of ego. I've met those type of people. Heck, I think I was that person for, time to time on my path. And I noticed very quickly it was not for me. On that, I'm going to completely let go of my ego. Right. You have fun with that. You have fun. Don't fight the ego. Don't do it. Don't. It is an entity that has crystallized itself into the human consciousness. That it is an energy one must neutralize through observation. That takes practice and a willingness to learn. That is all. Do not fight it. Don't try to kill it. Okay? Some people try to kill it with psychedelics. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay? So this obsession, and I'm using my celibacy as an example. Okay? I'm a flawed being having a human experience, but I am a flawed human being. I have made mistakes in past relationships. Made mistakes, okay? And I've always loved hard. I've always loved really, really, really hard. I always put all my all into partnerships for the most part. I never really half-assed relationships. I've half-assed a lot of, in different area and time periods in my life where I should have went full throttle, But relationships, I always gave it my all because I always thought that that was the end all be all. That was the key to happiness. No, I'm not saying I was habitually dating or chasing after every little opportunity. Not in the least. Far and few between. But when you love hard, when you're a being having a human experience, when you're that type of human where you love hard, when you lose a lot. And so I reached a point in my life where I'm currently just on a journey of deep self-reflection. Where is this need for love? Where is this idealistic partner? Where is that coming from? Where is it coming from? Like it's almost like an ache, like you're aching because you're needing a part, that this love outside of yourself. And so far on my journey, my practice, I should say, I'm realizing just how deep this need, this void, this or wound is. And I always jokingly said to my mom, I said, you know what, Mom, I'm just going to denounce Islam and become a Buddhist monk and go to the mountains in Tibet and shave my hair off and go out, go to the mountains in Tibet. And she would always like scuff at me like, oh, stop it, you know. But that's kind of how I feel right now. Like, I'm not saying I'm gonna do that as a big, huge life decision, but I'm just kind of in this space of really rediscovering what the love I have inside is, the weight of it, the weightlessness of it, the liberation of it. What does this mean? And this is a lifelong thing. This isn't something you can just get by booking a trip to India, to a famous temple to meet some guru. This isn't me going, it's not like how I left for the desert 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. This is different. This is like something in me where if I picked up tomorrow and I went out west, or I moved in a different location, or moved to a different country, this calling I have within myself would still be there, right? I've never really been a runner either. I'm not one to run away. I'm a nomad. I am nomadic. And one of my previous videos I mentioned past life, and I know for sure. I talked to another spiritual person, a Sufi, like a year and a half ago, and we were talking, and I told her about like my lifestyle, how I'm a traveler, but I'm not one where I just like I'm bumping from place to place to place to place to place to place habitually. It's just every year, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm like, my soul is like, it's time to go, and I go. Soul, God, higher self, ancestors, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, when it's time to go, I go. I don't fight it. It's never been like this. I've been traveling. I've been so nomadic in my movement throughout my entire life, throughout my childhood, throughout my young adult. Like, it's part of who I am. And so in this conversation with this woman, she's much older, and she was like, you know what it feels like when you're, describing to me how you live? And I said, what? And she's like, the Boudouin. The Boudouin, if I'm pronouncing it right, they are a nomadic tribe in North Africa. I think they're North African Arab lineage, I think. I'm not quite sure, but their culture is very nomadic. Okay? Just they're on the move. They set up camp, and I've always been pulled towards the Mongolian as well. They set up their, I used to know the name, yurts, right? They set up their circular homes, and then they move, right? Or the the Inuit, like just, I've always felt really just connected to the land in that way, where I've always known when to move. And so now that I am in this space, in this place of where I'm not really necessarily practicing a religion, right? I'm not relying on the jinn for anything right now. And really tuning into the God source that is within me. And what does that mean? What does that look like? What does that sound like? Right? And so at first I felt a lot of fear. Last year there was a lot of fear of closing the door on Islam and Sufism, because that's something I've just naturally have always felt pulled towards Islam and anything of that nature. But something still deeper within me was like, no, you need to let it go. Let it go. Even down to my spiritual tools, like, it's just like, let it go. You are that. You are the crystal. You are the herb. You are the spirit of this animal. You are all of these things. And when you truly embody this knowing that you are all, you are it, beyond, within the body and beyond body. So when my physical form can no longer move forward and it reaches her expiration date, it won't be something that's going to catch me off guard. Right? There's a saying out there that you're supposed to prepare for your death while you live. Right? Through whatever modality you see fit, but I find meditation to be incredibly important. Astral projection, these certain things. And I've met quite a few people who have abused the art of hypnosis, astral projection, lucid dreaming, meditation, especially hypnosis. Hypnosis is real. For real, for real. And you got to be real conscious of that when you have to be real conscious of that, period, in any sect, in any religious or spiritual practice that you're just getting into and it involves joining other people. Be aware, okay? I will say this: master self-hypnosis and no one can hypnotize you. Truly. It'd be very difficult because it is about suggestion and auto-suggestion and how open you are. But when you're actively developing and strengthening your energy bodies and your mentat, your mind, thought forms, you're aware of thought forms, you can discern what feelings are yours, you can discern between certain different kinds of projections. That's pivotal. How does love fit into all this? To truly embody love, you must realize that you are love. That takes, for me, it's challenging. It's like it's almost like when you have a memory of your favorite dish. Like gelato or gelato, right? It's an Italian ice cream, right? And I have the memory of what that tastes like on a nice hot day, very hot day, and what that tastes like on my taste buds and going down my throat, and how relaxed it makes me feel under a hot sun. That's what it feels like when I feel this love that I so much want to connect with. That no matter what, through this practice of celibacy, I no longer have this ache to unify myself with another person. Like my body, she don't want it. It's too much. On a metaphysical level, when you begin to understand sexual energy, sensual energy, life force energy on a metaphysical level, in the multiple energy bodies, the things that happen when you have two powerhouses coming and unifying together, do you understand how much you are taking in and the energy you're exchanging? All that is unhealed, you give and you share to the other. Doesn't matter hetero, homo, doesn't matter your choice. It is the energy exchange. And when you're not doing the work, and it's a very physically low, very earthy, just not really heart-centered act. When the act is not heart-centered, that might be, if you're curious, I'll make more videos on energy and intimacy and how that works. But when I'm not in alignment of it, it's something I don't necessarily truly desire. Hormone, now biologically, chemically, that's a different story, because I am of the flesh. I'm a human. I'm a woman. I'm female. I have a womb. I have breasts. I have hormones. I got, middle age. I'm still fertile for now. So it's something that I'm just coming to peace with. What I am beginning to feel and experience is the ache for, it's like the programming. I'm beginning to feel and sense the programming that my mind has been trained to believe. You're one, you need two. You need to unite. And you can say that that's human nature. We're biologically and chemically engineered to reproduce. You can say that. That's fair. But I'm also, there's an egotistical, societal, cultural element to what I'm going through right now. And I feel that pressure. It's a pressure. And I'm not saying I'm buckling under pressure or anything like that. No. It's more of the awareness of this pressure. There are times where my celibacy would intimidate a lot of fellow female women, and it was almost like, oh, you're just being self-righteous, and it's gotten to the point where if I'm having a conversation with another adult, a woman or man, or whoever, like, I'm very kind of like, I'm just honest, right? I don't like, because I used to be very, dim my light to make you feel better, to make you feel safe, to help you hide your insecurities rather than face them. I'm gonna, I don't do that anymore. I'm getting much better at just being kind of like myself. So, but yeah, but with this practice of celibacy, I'm learning, I'm exposing, there's an exposure to my own programming that I am very excited to uncover, because it's so easy to feed fantasy, to feed ego, to feed desire. And we build these beautiful stories of what things should be, and it's not that way. And I unfortunately have done that time and time again with partners, unfortunately. And it was to my own detriment, to my own demise. Because I built this vision of what it would be, what I thought it was, and that's not the case. I don't want to avoid the love within anymore. And I truly feel that compared to last year. My 35th year on this planet was kind of like, I'm just going to be alone. And I just feel so hurt because this didn't work out how I thought it would. Blah, blah, blah. Right? You have to go through that. Now in my 36th year, I just had my birthday. my 36th year here, something has shifted in me where I'm meeting myself, meeting a different part of myself. Because I've met different aspects of the self before, but this time it's different. This time I'm really ready to embark on this practice and on this journey. I'm not going to tell you how long and for how long. That ain't your business. Okay? I think that's very private. I was talking to an old acquaintance of mine, and she was like, how long are you doing it for? And I'm like, whoa, that's not... It's between the mother womb and myself, and that's it, right? It's a very sacred thing. So I don't feel like I need to go super deep on I have personal insights on celibacy and anything that falls under that category, but I don't feel like I need to go into my deeper inner secrets, right? Or things that I'm personally working through. I can do that to a certain extent, but I must honor my own privacy, But the love, when back to the gelato, and like it's like barely there. It's like the memory. It's almost like a memory of home that you haven't visited, you haven't claimed, you haven't seen, but you know you're meant to be there. You know that it's waiting for you. And that's one thing with real, true, unconditional love that we carry within ourselves. It's always there. Why do we get so heartbroken when we are separated from another? We become so broken. I have been there. We're so broken, and then love is like, I'm here for you. I will wait. I'll wait for you. And what's so powerful is that love doesn't operate on human time. Love is. It's beyond any time continuum. Past, present, future. Doesn't get stuck like we get stuck, Love doesn't hurt or cause pain. I don't believe that's true. I believe ego causes pain. I believe unhealed wounds cause pain. I believe neglect of the self cause pain. I believe the wounds of yesteryear cause pain. Anxiety, depression causes pain. But love, no. And I think anyone who believes that love is hard and love is dangerous and love is trying, no, that's not love. That's something else. That's teaching you something so that you can remember that you embody love. Hardship is not love. It is an experience to help you get closer to what you already are and who you already are. So, yeah, if you have more questions or want me to make more videos on the whole energy and intimacy thing, because it's deep. I look at it different. I don't look at lovemaking the way normal human beings do. I'm not going to say unfortunately. I just don't. I've tried for decades to normalize this very natural human thing, but I can't. The more I try to normalize what is normalized in my life, I go through hell. So I go through hell. Especially if I have not truly embodied the love that is within me and worked through my own fragmented belief systems and work through the illusion of separation that keeps human consciousness separate from itself. If I haven't done enough work, on that, best believe the relationships for me. I I go through I go through hell. Yeah, it's a certain kind of hell. Yeah, one way or the other. Someone's suffering, right? Because in Buddhism, it's like suffering, suffering, suffering. And when monks take that initiation into that type of a monastic lifestyle where they, revoke all intimacy, they revoke, the clothes and jewelry and anything worldly and materialistic. It's, yeah, anything, and I've watched interviews where monks are like, yeah, from time to time, I think about it. I'm saying, like marriage and all that other stuff. He goes, but then I also know that that path will lead me down to cause a lot of suffering for myself and a lot of suffering for other people, which there are many different ways to connect to love. It could be self-realized, self-actualized within yourself, which is much harder to do, or you can commit yourself and look for love and externalize. Either way, you will taste the memory of the love that you have within yourself. Truly. But I don't want it to just be a memory. I want it to be something that I am. That I no longer see myself separate from. Because I've spent my time externalizing. When I found out I couldn't get it from my parents how I wanted it or needed it, they did the best they could. But if I didn't get it from them how I needed it, then I turned to relationships. And I have to be careful with my career now because I have to make sure I don't turn that into an externalization of me trying to fulfill and fill my cup full of, love through my profession. No, this is a state of being that goes beyond a career, marriage, kids, family. So that's all I got. That's all I got. I better meditate and go to sleep. Yeah. All right. May this message find you well and whole and healthy. Those of you who are practicing celibacy, be sure that you're intentional with it. Because when you're not intentional with your practice, celibacy is very powerful practice, and you have to know what to do with the excessive amount of energy that you're storing within your physical body. That's how that's how powerful our life force energy is. When you begin to pull it up and then bring it back down and pull it up again, people have written books. People have started companies. People have done all kinds of things when they chose to use their energy in that way, especially in the area of service. Not just self-serving, but they're serving others. It can be quite profound. So that's, I guess, a little update on my practice, but primarily it's the love that we already have within ourselves, and it is a very challenging to truly go inward and to unify the self, the fragmented parts of self, so that you can realize that you are the love. Have a good night.